Very good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, your one-stop morning show for biggest news stories from India and across the world. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the top stories. The Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister to meet for the first time, meeting in the backdrop of concerns over slowing GDP. IMF lowers the 2017 growth projection for India. Finance Minister defends demonetization and GST in his address to students at Columbia University, says reforms have put the Indian economy on a stronger track. Election Commission hints at December polls in Gujarat. VVPATs to be used in over 50,000 booths. Panel to introduce all women polling stations for the first time. Vice President says that those who impute religious connotations to yoga doing immense harm to humanity. Inaugurates a third edition of International Conference on Yoga for Wellness. And wildfires rage across Northern California for the third straight day. 15 people killed, 20,000 people have been evacuated. Our top story this morning, the newly constituted Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister will hold its first meeting in New Delhi today. The five-member committee comprising reputed economists and experts was constituted by the Prime Minister last month. Niti Aayog member Dr. Bibek Debroy is heading this council. Now, this council has been mandated to analyze all critical issues, economic or otherwise, referred to it by the Prime Minister. It is also equipped to address issues of macroeconomic importance and presenting its views. The meeting comes in the backdrop of increasing concerns over declining GDP growth momentum. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund has lowered India's growth projection to 6.7% in 2017. The latest figure is 0.5 percentage points less than its previous two forecasts and slower than China's 6.8%. The IMF has attributed the lowering of her growth projection to the demonetization drive and the introduction of the GST. The IMF, however, raised its current year growth forecast for China to 6.8%. China now tops the global growth tally. The IMF also lowered India's growth for 2018 to 7.4%. However, India is likely to regain the tag of the fastest growing emerging economies of the world in 2018, where the China projected to grow at 6.5% in 2018. For the year 2022, the IMF has projected a growth rate of 8.2%. On to some other news, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has said that a series of reforms initiated by the Narendra Modi government, including demonetization and GST, has put the Indian economy on a far more stronger track. The Finance Minister was addressing the students of the Columbia University in New York during his week-long trip to the United States. He also said that the Indian economy is on a far more sound track way to achieve more bigger, and it is going to be much bigger in the coming days. Jaitley also said that there is a consensus on reforms in India. He said that the government has convinced people that domestic investment is grossly inadequate.
In the smoothest possible transfer of one tax system to another. India is one economy which was hugely cash dominated. Cash dominated to this extent that cash was almost 12.5% of our GDP. In that cash domination, the high value currency was 86%. And high value currency means a large part of it is not being transacted in the market. It goes from one cupboard to another. Eroded a lot of ethics and morality in both private and public dealings.
From economy to politics now, the voting for bypolls to Gurdaspur in Punjab and Venkara in Kerala Assembly seats is underway today. The Gurdaspur Lok Sabha seat fell vacant following the demise of actor turned politician Vinod Khanna in the month of April. 11 candidates are in the fray for the by-election. The main fight is between a BJP candidate, Swan Salaria, Congress's Sunil Kumar Jakar, who is the Punjab Congress president, and also Aam Aadmi Party's retired Major General Suresh Kumar Khajuria. VVPATs are being used in all the polling stations. By-poll to the Kerala's Vengara Assembly seat was necessitated after sitting MLA PK Kunalikutty of the UDF won the Malappuram Lok Sabha by-poll. The counting of votes for both the seats will take place on 15th of October. And the Election Commission has indicated that Gujarat may go to polls in December as the term of the current Legislative Assembly is coming to an end in the third week of January. Chief Election Commissioner A.K. Jyoti also said that a voter-verified paper audit trail system, that is VVPATs, will be used in over 50,000 booths in Gujarat. Also, the paper slips will be counted at a single booth in each 182 constituencies to tally the number of slips and the votes cast. For the first time, the poll panel will also introduce all women polling stations in Gujarat in all the assembly segments.
Parties requested that after introduction of VVPATs, the time of voting should be rationalized to achieve maximum voting. Parties emphasize the need to publicize the concept and functioning of VVPATs, and proper lighting arrangements should be made in all the polling stations. Commission has taken note of the concerns and suggestions of the political parties and has assured them that the Commission will put in place an effective mechanism to ensure smooth conduct of entire poll in a free, fair and transparent and inclusive manner.
Meanwhile, on his second visit to poll-bound Gujarat in a month, Rahul Gandhi targeted the organizational structure of the RSS and BJP, alleging that they did not give any importance to women. Rahul Gandhi was addressing students in Vadodara on the second day of his Navsarjan Yatra. In the first leg of his Yatra last month, he had travelled to the Saurashtra region. Rahul Gandhi also criticised the Modi government for not fulfilling the election promise of providing jobs to the youth.
मोदी जी का फोकस जॉब्स पे नहीं है और आपके भविष्य के लिए, हम सब के भविष्य के लिए देश के फोकस को जॉब पे लाना पड़ेगा। क्योंकि चाइना के लड़के लड़कियां जब सेल्फी लें उन्हें देखें मेड इन इंडिया, मेड इन गुजरात, मेड इन बड़ौदा।
Meanwhile, top BJP leaders launched a scathing attack on Congress and Rahul Gandhi from their political bastion Amethi. In addressing a public gathering, BJP leaders including Amit Shah and Smriti Irani slammed the Congress for neglecting the constituency. Shah also praised the Prime Minister for launching over 100 projects in Amethi in the last 3 years.
3 days after Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi visited his parliamentary constituency Amethi, top BJP leadership led by BJP President Amit Shah arrived in the city for a mega rally. Union Minister Smriti Irani and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath were also in town to launch many schemes and projects. Criticizing Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, Smriti Irani said he had neglected the constituency.
कि राहुल जी भले ही गुजरात में विकास का उपहास करते हों, लेकिन सही मजाक उन्होंने अपने लोकसभा क्षेत्र के लोगों के साथ किया। रिश्तों की दुहाई देते हुए आज तक वोट तो बहुत बटोरे उन्होंने, लेकिन विकास रूपी एक भी कार्य वो जनता के समक्ष कर नहीं पाए। हाँ, आज अगर राहुल जी अपनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में जाने जाते हैं तो फीता काटने वाले नेता के नाम से निश्चित रूप से जाने जाते हैं, लेकिन विकास का काम करने वाले नेता के रूप से भले नहीं जाने जाते हैं।
BJP President Amit Shah also slammed Rahul Gandhi for mocking development in Gujarat. He asked what 3 generations of his family had done for Amethi.
कि आपने 60 साल पर तक एक परिवार पर भरोसा किया है। एक बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी और नरेंद्र मोदी पर भरोसा करो, कभी पछताना नहीं पड़ेगा।
Amethi has traditionally been a Congress bastion. The 2014 Lok Sabha elections witnessed a high decibel electoral battle between Rahul Gandhi and Smriti Irani. Although Irani lost the election, she reduced Rahul Gandhi's victory margin from around 3.7 lakhs in 2009 to 1.07 lakhs in 2014. In the 2017 UP Assembly election, the BJP won 6 of the 10 Assembly seats, falling under the parliamentary constituencies of Amethi and Raebareli. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
On to news from Jammu and Kashmir. 2 militants have been gunned down by the security forces in Bandipora in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. An encounter had broken out between militants and security forces in the Hajin area of North Kashmir district. The operation against the militants is underway. In fact, we have been getting more details on this big story. The details are sketchy, but what we are getting to know is that 2 army men have also been killed in this encounter. We'll keep getting you all the updates on that big story, but we'll take a very short break here. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
Private investments are lowest, GDP has been falling, there are not many jobs.
Within 6 months, situation will change, GDP will increase and people will get the relief.
The top minds within the BJP, they have also started speaking about economy. The way Yashwant Sinha ji and Arun Shourie have written.
In party, anyone who have problem, before going to the press, we are expecting that he should come to our party president.
Can Mr. Nitin Gadkari rejuvenate the dying Ganga river before the general elections?
I am confident that before end of March, we will start all this program and we will try our level best to give the good results.
Watch To The Point with Union Minister Nitin Jairam Gadkari only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, President Ram Nath Kovind on Tuesday inaugurated the India Water Week 2017. The President said that a better and more efficient use of water is a challenge for Indian agriculture. He also said that the issue of water is becoming more critical in view of climate change and related environmental concerns. The President also urged for a localized water management approach which should empower village and neighborhood communities and build their capacity to manage, allocate and value their water resources. The President said that providing safe drinking water to a population spread across 600,000 villages and urban areas is not just a project proposal, it is a sacred commitment.
In conclusion, I would urge a better water management approach that is localized. It should empower village and neighborhood communities and build their capacity to manage, allocate and value their water resources. Access to water is a byword for human dignity. For India, providing safe drinking water to a population spread across 600,000 villages and urban areas is not just a project proposal. It is a sacred commitment. The government has prepared a strategic plan for ensuring drinking water supply in all rural areas by 2022, when India completes 75 years of its independence.
On to some other news now. Praising India's tradition of yoga, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that discipline has nothing to do with the religion. The Vice President was inaugurating the 3rd edition of 2-day International Conference on Yoga for Wellness in the national capital on Tuesday. He said that those who impute religious connotations to this ancient science cause immense harm to humanity. Underscoring the need for more research in this field, the Vice President said that yoga was a science of well-being that needs to be studied and practiced just like any other medical system. The Vice President also said that yoga is the mother of all exercises that have provided physical fitness, mental well-being and spiritual wellness while taking care of medical bills as well. At the 2-day conference, experts will deliberate on the scope of yoga in integrated medicine and its efficacy in controlling cancer, depression, cardiovascular diseases, gynecological disorders and pain management.
People who are trying to attribute religious overtones to this great science, they are doing immense harm to the cause of the humanity. Yoga brings you succor, and I don't know what is the equivalent word in English. It brings you santvana. comfort, not the physical, mental.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also released 2 books on surgery in the national capital. He urged people to shun a sedentary lifestyle and make yoga part of their daily routine to combat modern-day health problems, both physical and mental. Releasing the books titled Minimal Invasive Cancer Atlas, written by Professor C. Palani-Velu, and Bariatric Surgery Practice Guide, written by Dr. Praveen Raj, the Vice President underscored yoga as an antidote for modern day. He also felt that India's experienced pool of skilled doctors who can handle any complicated disorder with surgical intervention is propelling the growth of medical tourism in the country. Now, praising the efforts of the authors, the Vice President said that their books will be useful for building regions.
I said yoga will save you from getting the roga. Roga is a disease. You can escape from becoming a rogi. You may not become a yogi. Everybody cannot become a yogi. But at least you can escape becoming a rogi.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called value-based journalism the need of the hour and has asked media organizations to abstain from sensationalizing news. Addressing a gathering in the memory of Narendra Mohan, former editor of Jagran Publishing Group, the Vice President said that there is a need to differentiate between news and views. He also talked about an inclusive economy for the elimination of poverty. On this occasion, top officials of Dainik Jagran Group were present.
It should be value-based. Media should be nearer to truth. Keep away from sensation. And then should reflect the societal mood. You should be a real mirror to the society. समाज में जो हो रहा है, ये प्रदर्शन होना चाहिए टीवी में या तो अखबार में. तभी आप सिस्टम के साथ न्याय कर रहे हैं.
And Home Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated the new headquarters of the National Investigating Agency on Tuesday. The multi-storied complex is located at Lodi Road in the national capital. The Home Minister spoke on several issues while addressing the event. Let's take a listen.
The NDA government is taking strong action on terrorism and the results are showing on the ground. Home Minister Rajnath Singh said this on Tuesday while inaugurating the new headquarters of the National Investigation Agency in New Delhi.
कोई भी सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी टेररिज्म को किसी भी सूरत में मान्यता नहीं देगी. किसी भी सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी के लिए यह कर्ष है, अभिशाप है. और इतना ही नहीं, मैं मानता हूं कि उस देश के लिए जहां पर यह टेररिज्म अपने पैर फैलाने का काम करता है, वहां के डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी बहुत ही बाधक होता है. उसमें बहुत बड़ा रोड़ा पैदा करता है यह टेररिज्म.
The Home Minister said high-quality fake currency notes act as oxygen to terrorism, which he termed as a curse that no civilized country can accept.
करेंसी का जो रोल है उसको हम भूल नहीं सकते. फेक करेंसी की टेररिज्म के फलने फूलने में एक अहम उसकी भूमिका है. फेक करेंसी, लेकिन हाई क्वालिटी फेक करेंसी टेररिज्म के लिए मैं यह मानता हूं कि एक ऑक्सीजन का काम करती है. एनआईए ने हाई क्वालिटी फेक करेंसीज को भी रोकने में बहुत ही प्रभावी भूमिका अदा की है. इसके लिए डीजी श्री शरद कुमार और उनके पूरे टीम को मैं पुनः अपनी तरफ से हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं.
He also referred to allegations against BJP President Amit Shah's son Jay Shah, stating that they had no basis and did not merit any investigation. A news portal had reported that a firm owned by Amit Shah's son saw a huge rise in turnover after the BJP came to power in 2014, a charge that has been rejected by the BJP. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Home Minister Rajnath Singh on Tuesday also inaugurated the first BIMSTEC disaster management exercise in the national capital. Cautioning against the possibility of extreme weather events like floods and cyclones in the future due to climate change, Singh called for improved disaster preparedness to reduce the loss of lives.
The first meeting of the Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral Operation Minister Rajya to all member nations in achieving the common goal of reducing losses caused by these disasters. He also stressed that India will stand shoulder to shoulder with other members and explore all possible avenues of collaboration.
Since majority of BIMSTEC nations face the problem of floods on a regular basis, I sincerely believe that we need to join hands to mitigate this problem.
Improved disaster preparedness has been a cornerstone of the BIMSTEC from 1996 to 2015. In this period, BIMSTEC countries lost 3,17,000 lives and over 16 million people lost their homes in these disasters.
The objective now should be to explore how to put in place a common policy framework and strategies, in particular in the areas of sharing information, early warning system, and joint and coordinated action on relief and rehabilitation.
BIMSTEC states are dependent on the Bay of Bengal and include Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Bhutan and Nepal. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for all the international news now. The leader of Catalonia on Tuesday postponed a formal declaration of independence from Spain, stepping back from the brink of a constitutional crisis that has engulfed the country. At a specially convened session in the Catalan parliament, Catalan President Charles Puigdemont declared that the region had earned the right to independence, but he said that he wanted to take the heat out of political standoff that has roiled Spain since a disputed referendum on 1st of October. While Puigdemont and other regional leaders did sign a declaration of independence from Spain, they say that the move will not be implemented for several weeks to allow talks with the government in Madrid. The document calls for Catalonia to be recognized as an independent and sovereign state. The move, however, has been dismissed by the Spanish central government, where the Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy calling an extraordinary cabinet meeting for this morning to address the latest moves in the crisis. A referendum was held in Catalonia, which Catalan leaders say resulted in a yes vote for independence. It was declared invalid by Spain's constitutional court and was marked by clashes between Spanish police and organizers.
I com a president de la Generalitat, assumeixo en presentar-los els resultats del referèndum davant de tots vostès i davant dels nostres conciutadans el mandat del poble que Catalunya esdevingui un estat independent en forma de república.
Después de haber llegado tan lejos y embarcado a Cataluña en el mayor nivel de tensión de su historia, el presidente Puigdemont hoy ha asumido a su comunidad autónoma el mayor nivel de incertidumbre. El discurso que ha hecho hoy el presidente de la Generalitat.
And news from the US now, where more than a dozen wildfires raged across Northern California for the third straight day on Tuesday, with the biggest ones killing at least 15 people. The fires have scorched the state's famous wine country and forcing more than 20,000 people to evacuate. The largest fires were burning in Sonoma, Napa and Mendocino counties of California. Out of the 15 deaths, 9 deaths were reported in Sonoma County, 2 in Napa, while 4 in Mendocino. About 2,000 homes and businesses have been destroyed by the fires that are burning more than 1,15,000 acres of land. More than 100 people are being treated in various hospitals for fire-related injuries or issues like burns, smoke inhalation and shortness of breath. Most of the Northern California fires were ignited on Sunday night, driven by winds of more than 50 miles per hour and dry conditions. A state of emergency was declared in northern areas after mass evacuations. Authorities said it was early to tell whether any of the wildfires were started by humans. An investigation is underway.
But President Trump asked me to come here this morning to assure the people of California that we will continue to work very closely with Governor Brown, with the state of California, with each one of you to support your courageous first responders and come alongside the families affected through loss of persons and property in the wake of these wildfires. To California, we say through this declaration, we are with you. Our prayers are with you.
And here is a wrap of more international news now in World Wrap. The European Union has extended sanctions aimed at punishing North Korea for its nuclear and ballistic missile programs, banning the import of textiles from and limiting the sales of crude oil. The 12-member bloc adopted United Nations restrictions imposed by the Security Council last month to punish Pyongyang for its sixth and largest nuclear test into its own sanctions program. A Pakistan anti-graft team will visit London to record the statements of some important witnesses and collect evidence of properties of ousted Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his family. Nawaz Sharif, remember, had to step down as Prime Minister and President of the ruling PMLN party after he was disqualified by the country's Supreme Court on 28th of July in the Panama Papers scandal. The Accountability Court in Islamabad has also declared the sons of Nawaz Sharif as proclaimed offenders for repeatedly failing to appear before it. And the death toll in Sunday's boat accident near Shahapurir Dweep on the southern tip of Bangladesh has risen to 23. According to police, 8 bodies of Rohingya Muslims were found on the banks of Naf River, which separates Bangladesh from Myanmar, and another one was found miles away on the island of St. Martin. On to some sports news now. Australia defeated India in the second T20 cricket international match and levelled the series at the Spara Stadium in Guwahati. The visitors won the match by 8 wickets. Now, chasing a target of 119 runs, Australia made a 122 for 2 in just 15.3 overs. For visitors, Moises Henriques contributed 62 runs and Travis Head 48 in their unbeaten 109-run stand. While for India, Kedar Jadhav's 27 and Hardik Pandya's 25 helped the team cross the 100-run mark. With this victory, the 3-match series is now levelled at 1-1. The third and the final match is scheduled to be held on Friday in Hyderabad.
Oh, done him. Absolutely done him.
And that's it from me and my team in this edition of News. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.